What is up, everybody? I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another video. I know it's been a while since I've created any long form content here on YouTube, but the winter was long, but the sun's out now. We've got blue sky. The weather is good. We're in double digits for the temperature, and I'm back with some fresh content for you guys. So stay tuned if you want to find out more about the new GFX 100 RF, the GFX 100 the second, and also today I'm going to be talking about my Fujifilm X-T5 paired with the 16 to 50 2.8 to 4.8 kit lens. This is the recent kit lens by Fujifilm, and I wanted to talk about this setup today because previously I've been shooting with primes, and I moved over to shooting with this lens, and it was a pleasant surprise and I really enjoyed myself. But before we talk about this, let's roll the intro. So typically I shoot with primes only. I shoot with the 33mm f1.4 or the Viltrox 27 1.2. I've also got the 75 1.2 by Viltrox. And I like to shoot with primes because, well, primes are sharper. People talk about primes. I think everyone really starts off shooting with zooms typically first because it's more convenient. And then people realize actually I can get a shallower depth of field, I can get sharper images if I have a prime lens, because prime lenses don't have moving optics inside them. So you get a lot sharper images out of them. You can also make them nice and compact, but also have a large aperture, so you get a shallower depth of field where your background is more blurred out. And professionals typically move from having one camera to having two, with probably a 35mm f1.4 or an 85mm f1.4 on the other side, so that they can have the option of shooting wide open with two different camera systems. And that's typically what I've been doing all of my photography life, to be fair. And if I do anything paid, I still shoot with primes, to be honest. But if I want to go out and do any street photography or walk around photography, I typically would just take my 33mm and shoot everything in the 50mm equivalent focal length. And the reason for that is because I just really like 50mm. It's not too wide, so I don't have to worry about making sure that I crop afterwards if there's things in my shot that I don't want to have. 50mm is really nice. It gives me a bit of distance between me and my subject or whatever it is that I'm photographing. But recently I went away to Yorkshire and I was photographing with the 27mm f2.8 pancake lens, and a few times I realized actually this is a little too wide for me. I need my 50mm. So I went back to the car, got my 50mm or my 33 1.4, and I carried it with me, and I swapped lenses a few times when there was a particular type of shot that I wanted. I needed that compression, I put my 33 on, and then when I wanted to go a little bit wider, I put my 27 on. And I realized that it's a bit of a pain, actually. If you're doing walk around photography, you don't want to have more than one lens. You want to have a really light setup like I have here, and you want an easy setup. You want to be able to photograph there and then straight away without missing a moment, without missing a composition, or without having to run back to your car and come back and then forget what you were doing. Because when you're in the flow in photography, you want to just get on and you want to photograph, right? So I decided to buy the 16 to 50 lens because I realized that actually when I'm photographing outside, I'm always at f5.6 or f8. And so I don't need a prime lens that opens up to f1.4 for outside photography. I'm happy to have a lens like this, which starts at f2.8 on the wider end, which is 16mm, which is the equivalent of 24mm in full frame. And then it zooms to 50mm and it goes to f4.8, and 50mm is the equivalent to 75mm on full frame. And that's a perfect focal range for me because sometimes I want to capture wide and other times I want to capture telephoto, short telephoto. And I make sure that when I'm photographing, I'm actually looking at my lens and saying, right, well, I'm at 16 today, or I'm 16 at the moment. This shot, I think I'm going to go to 23. And then this next shot, I think I need to be at 35. So I'm not actually holding my camera up like this and then just zooming to when I need to. I'm still respecting those focal lengths, and I'm still respecting my primes by shooting at 23mm and backing off or getting a little bit closer. And then I might think, well, actually, I'm going to be at the 50mm focal length in full frame. So I go to 35 on my lens and I'm shooting at 35 and I'm making sure that I'm not anywhere in between and I'm not doing this whole zoom business, just capturing whatever. And I think when photographers first start out photographing, a lot of the times, and this is what I did, they zoom right into 50mm to get up a close-up shot. And that's great because you're learning how to photograph. But actually, what you're not doing is getting your context in your image and making sure that you are telling a story with your image. And that's where I think primes are really important, because when you're shooting with a 35mm lens on full frame, you are making sure that you're standing in a particular way to capture the scene. You want the right angle. Either you're going to be low or you're going to be high. Or if you're shooting 16mm wide open, you're probably going to be in a landscape shot somewhere or a cityscape, and you want to make sure that you're capturing the wide. This lens is incredible. It is a fantastic lens because it's the same size as my 33mm. It's lighter, and the best thing about it is that this lens has an internal zoom. So I'm actually zooming right now and the lens is not coming in and out. And that's great because it means that if you wanted to put this lens on a gimbal and shoot video with it, you can, because it will balance. It's also balanced on your shoulder, right? So if you're out and about walking and you're photographing from the hip, let's say, it's balanced. The lens isn't tipping forward or it's not becoming front heavy because you're zooming. So this is actually an incredible lens. And if you have been shooting primes and you're thinking, I really would like to have a zoom, then honestly, I think this is a great lens. Would I use this indoor for a wedding? Perhaps if I had a flash mounted on the top of my camera, maybe at a push I would. But what I typically would have is, I have the XH2 here, and I have a 16 to 55 2.8 lens. This is the older 2.8 lens. There's a newer one, there's a Mark II come out, but this is the older one. And to be honest, I do the same here. I go from 16, 23, 35, or 55, which is equivalent to about an 85mm, and I use this. This is an incredibly sharp lens. I can capture images with this in the same way as I am with this, respecting my focal length and capturing images. And what I then also do is on my second body, which is my X-T5, I would then have my 33mm f1.4 because I still want to capture those 1.4 images where the background's blurred out, where I'm doing candid shots, where people are milling around, maybe having canapes, drinks and things like that, or at the bar. I'm just capturing images with everything blown out in the background. And so then I wouldn't typically use this lens, I would use the 33. But as a walk around lens, I didn't want to carry the XH2. First of all, I don't use the XH2 for walk around photography. It's uninspiring when it comes to walk around photography because number one, it's got this articulating screen, and if you're a photographer, you will resonate. I don't like the articulating screen. I don't use this for walk around, anything casual, I don't use it. It's too SLR style, it's big, it's bulky, it's not an ideal camera. The X-T5 on the other hand is fantastic because it's the same 40 megapixel sensor, it's got IBIS in it, it's got all of the same film simulations. It doesn't have 8K recording, but when I'm walking around doing photography, I'm not interested in recording video, to be honest. And 6.2K, which is what you can do on here, is more than enough. It has F-Log2 in there, so you can do professional work with this as well, in video and photo. The photo specs are exactly the same as this camera. You might get a faster burst rate. So if you're doing wildlife or sports, you might want to have this because then this is obviously geared for that. But if you're doing street photography, walk around photography, and you're looking for a zoom lens, then honestly, look no further from the X-T5. Now, the other advantage of this camera for a street photography camera, the X-T5, is that this camera has the most incredible battery life. I have never ever owned a camera which has given me battery life as good as this. I've owned the Canon R5 or the Canon R6 Mark II, and the battery life is good on those cameras. The battery life is great on my XH2. The battery life is also good on my GFX 100 too, but the battery life is much better on this camera. I shot over a period of 3 days and I took around 600 to 700 photos and I used one battery and I did not charge it. And at the end of those 4 days, I think it was, I was on red. Now, granted, I wasn't shooting all day. It was a couple of hours a day, but I was then looking back at the photos, scrolling through them, looking back at what I'd captured. And the camera obviously had the battery in it overnight over those 4 days, and the battery was just so good. So highly recommend the X-T5 for any kind of street photography, and highly recommend the 16-50 lens if you want to be outdoors, shooting outdoors on a nice bright summer's day. Definitely recommend this. So as part of a project that I've got going where I'm capturing images of old market towns, of cottages and countrysides. It's actually called Cottages and Countryside. Here in the UK, I've been capturing images in various small towns and market towns whilst the sun was out in this last week during the May heat wave. And I've really enjoyed using this setup for it, and it just meant that it was so much easier being able to zoom in at the different focal lengths, and I have been overly impressed with the sharpness of this lens. I don't do brick wall tests or anything like that, and as I said, typically I've been shooting everything at like f5.6 and f8, and it's been more than enough for me. So have a look at those images, let me know what you think, share your thoughts in the comments below. I always love to interact with everybody who watches my videos in the comment section. Yeah, so enjoy. I'm going to stop talking now, so enjoy some of the music and enjoy these images, and I look forward to speaking to you again in my next video. Thank you. Cheers.